She thought she was saving a stranger. She was actually saving the most hunted billionaire in America. Real quick, comment your thought time and location so I know who's watching. And make sure you subscribe, because this story is about to explode. Let me take you to the night Jessy Thorn's entire world flipped upside down. A cold Thursday evening. Fog crawling between buildings. Streetlights flickering like tired eyes. And Jessy, exhausted, broke, and one wrong move away from losing the only job keeping her and her sick mother afloat. Prime Works Logistics. A company so strict, the walls felt like rules, and the rules felt like chains. Jessy Thorn walked out of the warehouse wearing those faded navy overalls, the same ones she'd worn 4 days straight. Her shift had ended 5 minutes ago, and she should have been hurrying to the train like every other worker who feared the red clock-in, clock-out system more than they fear hunger. Because at Prime Works, if you clock out even 1 minute late, you don't get a warning. You get a threat. Jessy already had 2 strikes. And a third? Well, Prime Works didn't do third chances. They barely did first chances. But tonight, fate didn't care about Jessy's bills, her sick mother, her exhaustion, or her desperation. Tonight, fate was here to make her choose. Jessy walked through the fog-choked intersection, hugging her backpack to her chest, whispering under her breath, "Please, just let today end quietly." But the city had other plans, because around the next corner, she heard it, a sound that sliced through the night, a deep, heavy, sickening thud. Then another, then muffled screams. Jessy froze. Her heartbeat quickened. She turned her head toward the alley, and that's when she saw them. For hoodlums sprinting out at full speed, shadows across their faces, knuckles bloodied, one of them limping as he ran. They didn't look back. They didn't have to. Jessy stepped forward carefully, fear prickling under her skin, and that's when she saw him. A man collapsed in the middle of the street, body twisted, clothes torn, blood smeared across the pavement. A man beaten down, so brutally it looked like pure hatred had done it. Jessy's breath caught in her throat, because this wasn't just someone who got mugged. This was someone who got targeted. Hard. She glanced up to call for help, and that's when she noticed something strange, something that made her heart stop cold. 2 black helicopters circling overhead, silent, smooth, like shadows with blades. Not police helicopters. Nothing normal. Something else. Jessy felt every instinct scream. Walk away. Just go home. Clock out. Save your job. Her phone screen lit up. 6:17 p.m. 3 minutes before badge out cutoff. 3 minutes before another strike. 3 minutes before her life could collapse financially. Jessy swallowed hard. Her mother was waiting at home. Rent was overdue. Eviction letter was 2 days away. She couldn't lose this job. Not now. Not tonight. But then she looked down at the man's face, barely breathing, his chest rising in shaky, uneven gasps. One swollen eye, one trembling hand. Jessy's mother's voice echoed inside her memory. "Baby, the world is cold. You don't have to be." Jessy dropped her backpack. She ran toward the man, skidding to her knees, pressing her hand against his chest, trying to stabilize his head, exactly like the image burned into your mind. "Sir? Hey, sir, stay with me. Can you hear me?" But he didn't answer. Not a word. Not a blink. Just a faint wheeze. Jessy leaned closer and did what her mother taught her. Check breath, pulse, responsiveness. Pulse? Weak. Breath? Shallow. Life? Slipping. Jessy dialed 911 fast. "Emergency services, what's your..." "This is Jessy Thorn. I have an unconscious male. Severe trauma. Possible assault. He's barely breathing. I need EMS now." She pressed down on his chest, trying to keep pressure. But then something happened that froze her spine. A crackling noise. Not from the man's mouth, but from a shattered earpiece, still clipped to his collar. A voice whispered through it. "Adams." "Adams, respond. Extraction is inbound. Hold position." Jessy's eyes widened. "Adams? Adams who..." She brushed the blood away from his face. And then she recognized him. Not from real life, but from magazine covers. business billboards, tech documentaries. Adam Smoke, the billionaire CEO of Smoke Industries, the genius who built half the security tech in America, the man who disappeared 2 months ago, missing without explanation. Jessy pulled her shaking hand back. Why are you here? What happened to you? But before she could think, the helicopters overhead shifted lower, spotlights flooding the street. Jessy ducked, covering his head with her arms. The rotors churned the fog like a storm. It felt like the city itself was holding its breath. Then, sirens, red and blue flickering through the haze. Ambulance doors slammed open. Paramedics rushed toward them. What do we got? Jessy rattled off everything. Male, mid-40s, unconscious, head trauma, shallow breathing, possible internal bleeding, pulse weak, responsive to pain only. One of the paramedics raised a brow. You kept him alive. Another 10 minutes, and we'd be calling the coroner. But before Jessy could breathe out relief, another vehicle screeched to a halt. A black SUV. No logos. No plates. 2 men in tactical suits stepped out. One pointed directly at Jessy. You. Jessy stiffened. What did you see here? I just helped him. That's all. The man stepped closer, scanning her badge. Prime Works Logistics. He smirked. You're finished. Jessy blinked. What? You violated your company's field restriction policy. You left the premises. You engaged in a federal-level incident zone. You interfered. Jessy's voice broke. But a man was dying. The agent leaned in, voice flat and cold. We know everything, and you should have walked away. The SUV peeled off. The helicopters rose again. And Jessy Thorn stood in the middle of that foggy street, shaking, breathless, and realizing saving Adam Smoke wasn't the end. It was the beginning of something bigger, deeper, and far more dangerous. Something she wasn't prepared for. Something she couldn't escape now. As the ambulance sped away with Adam Smoke inside, the last helicopter dipped low, hovering, watching Jessy, like a warning, like a promise, like a new enemy she hadn't met yet. Jessy whispered, God, what did I just step into? Black screen, dramatic silence. Before we continue, tell me this in the comments right now. Would you risk your job to save someone's life? Even if it meant your world could fall apart? And if this hooked you already, hit subscribe. When Jessy woke up the next morning, the world felt wrong. Not different. Not strange. Just wrong. Like something had shifted in the air overnight. Like the city knew something she didn't. Jessy's mother was already awake, sitting at the kitchen table, inhaler nearby, eyes soft the way only a mother's eyes could soften when they sensed trouble. Baby, you didn't sleep, she whispered. Jessy forced a smile. I'm fine, Mama. I just had a tough shift. But her mother didn't buy it. She never did. Jessy poured water into a cracked glass, her hands shaking so badly the water splashed onto the counter. Her mother didn't comment. She just placed a gentle hand over Jessy's. And that almost broke her. Because how do you tell your sick mother that you may have lost your job? How do you tell her that the helicopters last night were real? The gunmen were real, and the unconscious man she saved wasn't just some stranger. He was Adam Smoke, a billionaire, a target, a ghost of a conspiracy Jessy couldn't even begin to understand. Jessy didn't speak. She couldn't. She grabbed her bag and headed for the door. Her mother's soft voice followed her. Whatever you're fighting, baby, don't fight alone. Jessy closed her eyes. If only it were that simple. The warehouse felt heavier today. Workers moved fast, heads down, as if afraid to be noticed by something lurking in the shadows. Jessy scanned her badge. Access denied. Jessy frowned and tried again. Access denied. A sinking feeling slid into her stomach. Security guards at the far end were watching her. Not casually. Not accidentally. Watching her. Hey! Jessy called out. My badge isn't working. HR wants to see you, one guard interrupted. No emotion. No explanation. Jessy nodded slowly, heart pounding in her ears as she walked toward the HR office. Each step felt like it cracked open another layer of dread. She hadn't even sat down before Ms. Reynolds, the HR manager with the personality of a brick wall, began reading from a paper. Jessy Thorn, she said, last night you left the premises without authorization. You failed to clock out on time. And you interfered in a restricted municipal incident. Jessy blinked. What? I didn't interfere in anything. I saved someone's life. Ms. Reynolds set the paper down. Her face softened for exactly 1 second. Enough to reveal something Jessy didn't expect. Fear. Deep, quiet fear. Jessy, she said, voice lowering to a whisper. You weren't supposed to be there. Jessy frowned. What does that mean? It means, Ms. Reynolds continued shakily, that you stumbled into something bigger than you, bigger than this building, bigger than all of us. Jessy swallowed hard. Who told you that? Ms. Reynolds' eyes darted toward the security camera in the corner, then back to Jessy. She mouthed one word. Leave. But she didn't mean go home. She meant run. Before someone makes sure you never run again. Then she lifted the paper and resumed reading in her official corporate tone. Effective immediately, your employment with PrimeWorks Logistics is terminated. Jessy felt the air punch out her lungs. Terminated. For saving a man's life. For refusing to walk past a dying human. For doing what any decent person would have done. Jessy whispered, You're firing me because of what happened last night, aren't you? Ms. Reynolds didn't answer. She didn't have to. Security escorted Jessy out like she was a criminal. Co-workers avoided her eyes. The door slammed behind her. And Jessy Thorn, who had already been hanging by a financial thread, now stood on the street with nothing but a backpack and the memory of helicopters circling above a dying billionaire. She walked home fighting tears. Angry tears. Confused tears. Not for herself, but because deep down she now understood 2 things. Saving Adam Smoke had consequences. Someone didn't want her alive long enough to understand why. Jessy had barely stepped into her small apartment when her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Jessy's stomach tightened. She almost didn't answer. Almost. Hello? A deep male voice spoke. Jessy Thorn, we need to meet. Tomorrow. 10 a.m. Jessy froze. Who is this? Silence. Then, it's about the man you saved. Do not tell anyone what you saw. Click. The call ended. Jessy stared at her phone, then at the eviction notice still pinned to the fridge, then at her mother sleeping on the couch, worn out from the morning stress. Jessy felt something inside her harden. This wasn't coincidence. This wasn't random. This was a setup, a trap, a warning. Someone wanted Adam Smoke dead, and someone wanted Jessy erased. Before she could put the pieces together, her mother coughed violently. Jessy rushed to her side. Mama? Mama, breathe, it's okay. Her mother pulled her close. Baby, you look scared. What happened? Jessy hesitated. She opened her mouth, then closed it, not because she wanted to lie, but because whatever she stepped into, her mother couldn't withstand the shock. Jessy forced a smile. Everything's fine, Mama. I promise. But deep inside, she knew nothing was fine. Nothing at all. Jessy barely slept. Every sound in the hallway felt like footsteps coming for her. Every car outside made her flinch. She replayed everything from the night before. The hoodlums, the blood, the helicopters, the agents, the threat, and most of all, Adam Smoke's unconscious face. If this was a conspiracy, and it had to be, then Adams was at the center of it. And Jessy? She was now a loose thread, a witness, a problem someone wanted to silence. At exactly 9:58 a.m. the next morning, Jessy stood outside, waiting for whoever called her, her hands trembling, her chest tight. 2 minutes passed, then 5, then 10. No one came. Jessy sighed deeply and turned back toward her building. And then, whoop, 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 whoop. Her ears rang. Her hair whipped back. Windows shook violently. Jessy spun around and gasped. 3 black helicopters descended right onto her parking lot. Neighbors screamed. Dogs barked. Phones came out recording. Jessy stood frozen. Every heartbeat echoed in her skull. The center helicopter's door slid open, and there he was, bandaged, bruised, alive, Adam Smoke, the billionaire she saved. He stepped onto the pavement with the aura of a man who didn't just have power. He owned it. His eyes locked onto Jessy instantly. He walked toward her slowly, deliberately, while agents move around him like shadows. Jessy could barely breathe. "Jessy Thorn," he said, voice low and rough but steady. "You saved my life. And because of that, someone tried to take yours." Jessy whispered, "Who?" Adams handed her a folder. Inside were surveillance photos of his ambush, her termination order, internal company emails. She read one line that made her knees buckle. Her firing neutralizes a liability. The billionaire must have been attacked for a reason we don't want traced to us. Jessy's voice cracked. "Prime work set you up?" Adam shook his head. "No. Someone above them. Someone who used them. Someone who wanted me dead." Jessy swallowed. "So what happens now?" Adams looked her dead in the eyes and said, "Now, we burn down the people who tried to silence you. Get in the helicopter. Jessy, you're under my protection now." Jessy felt her breath shake. This was it. The moment her life forked into two worlds. Go back inside, or step into the war she never asked for. Her jaw tightened. Her fists clenched. Her legs moved. Jessy stepped forward, toward the helicopter, toward the unknown, toward the fire. As Jessy grabbed the helicopter door, Adams whispered, "You saved me, Jessy. But now, I need you alive." The engines roared. The city shrank below. Her old life disappeared. And Jessy Thorn stepped into something far bigger than survival. She stepped into a battlefield. Before we move on, answer this in the comments. Do you think Jessy should trust Adam Smoke? Or do you think she just stepped into a bigger trap? If you're hooked, hit subscribe, because about to reveal the first secret Adams has been hiding. The helicopter blades thundered above Jessy's head as the city shrank below them. Tiny streets, tiny cars, tiny people, all fading into a world she no longer belonged to. Jessy sat rigid, her hands gripping the metal seat, her heart pounding like it wanted to break free from her ribs. Adam Smoke sat across from her, bandaged, bruised, but alert, very alert. The kind of alertness that came from surviving things normal people never lived through. Jessy studied him, and the more she looked, the less she understood. Why her? Why would a billionaire come for her personally? And why did it feel like saving him had pulled her into something deeper than even he wanted to admit? The helicopter tilted left, rising through clouds as the rotors cut through fog like knives. Jessy swallowed hard. "I need answers," she finally said. Adams looked up. "You'll get all of them," he replied, "but not here." Jessy exhaled slowly. Her voice was steady, but her eyes weren't. "You told me someone tried to end my life. Why? I'm just a warehouse worker. I didn't see anything. I didn't do anything except save you." Adam's jaw tightened. "You did the one thing they didn't expect," he said. "You interfered." Jessy blinked. "Interfere with what?" Adams leaned forward. "Jessy, the men who attacked me weren't street criminals. They were operatives, professionals, sent by someone with power and reach." Jessy's stomach tightened. "I didn't know who you were until I heard your earpiece," she whispered. "I know," Adams replied. "They know, too. That's the problem." Jessy frowned. "Who are they?" Adams inhaled sharply, like he was deciding how much truth she could handle. Then he spoke. "Primeworks Logistics isn't just a warehouse, Jessy. It's a front." Jessy's breath caught. "A front for what?" "A government-backed private contractor." Adams said, "They move more than boxes and shipments. They move secrets, weapons, experimental tech, things that can shift global control." Jessy stared at him. "You're telling me I've been packing weapons?" "No." Adams shook his head. "Not weapons. Data, files. And one of those files was mine." Jessy froze. "What does that mean?" "It means," Adams continued, "I discovered something I wasn't supposed to, something that threatened the people running that operation. And they tried to kill you for it." Jessy whispered. Adams didn't answer verbally. He just lifted the hem of his shirt slightly. Jessy gasped. Dark purple bruises. Sharp-edged cuts. Marks that weren't from fists alone. These were interrogation marks. Torture marks. Jessy covered her mouth. "Oh my God!" Adams let the cloth fall. "I escaped," he said simply. "Barely. But I had evidence. Proof of everything. And Primeworks, knowingly or not, help the people who want that proof buried." Jessy suddenly felt her chest tighten. She worked for monsters. She saved a target. And now she was a loose end. Her voice trembled. "So they fired me to erase me?" Adams shook his head. "Not erase you," he said. "Distance you. Then isolate you. Then eventually remove you." Jessy shivered. "Remove you. Not fire you. Not blacklist you. Remove you." "Why didn't they just come for me?" she whispered. "They tried," Adams replied. "The men in that SUV were not for my team." Jessy felt a cold shock wash through her body. The SUV. The threats. The way they scanned her badge. The way they smirked like they already signed her death certificate. Jessy hugged her arms tightly. "So, what do you want from me?" she asked quietly. "Nothing," Adams said. "You've already done your part." Jessy frowned. "Then why am I here?" Adams leaned closer, eyes sharp on the helicopter blades, slicing the air. "Because you saved me," he said. "And the organization behind all this knows that makes you important to me, which makes you leverage, which makes you vulnerable." Jessy stared at him, stunned. "It's not about what you know," Adams said. "It's about who you saved." Jessy looked away, shaking her head slowly. "This is insane," she whispered. Then the helicopter suddenly dipped downward, jerking violently. Jessy grabbed the seat. "What was that?" The pilot's voice crackled through the comms. "Sir, we have a tail." Jessy's stomach dropped. "A tail?" she yelled. Adams stood instantly, gripping a ceiling strap to steady himself. His voice went calm. Too calm. "How many?" "One. No. 2 helicopters approaching fast," the pilot said. "Unmarked. They're not FAA coded." Jessy felt ice flood her veins. "Unmarked. Not FAA coded. Meaning, not friendly." Adams' eyes hardened. "They found us sooner than expected." Jessy screamed over the engine roar. "Found U.S." "Who?" Adams didn't blink. "The same people who tried to erase me." The helicopter tilted sharply as the tailing aircraft drew closer. Jessy's body slammed sideways. "Are we going to die?" she shouted. "Not on my watch," Adams said. The next 3 minutes were chaos. The helicopter spiraled left. Hard. Jessy's stomach lurched. The seatbelt dug into her ribs. Rotors screamed over the wind. The pilot yelled, "They're locking onto us." "Sir, they're preparing something. Heat signature spike." Jessy's breath seized. "They're trying to shoot us down?" Adams grabbed her arm. "Jessy, look at me." She turned, terrified. "If they get you," he said, "they use you against me. They make you disappear. That won't happen." Jessy's pulse hammered. "Why do you care so much?" "I'm nobody." "You're not nobody," Adams said fiercely. "You're the only one who acted human when everyone else acted dangerous." The helicopter rattled violently. Jessy squeezed her eyes shut. "Please tell me we're not dying." Adams pressed a button on his wrist device. Instantly, a streak of silver flashed across the sky. Jessy opened her eyes. Another aircraft, sleek, fast, unfamiliar, shot upward like a guided missile. "What is that?" Jessy shouted. Adams answered quietly, "A friend." Within seconds, the pursuing helicopter scattered, veering off into clouds. The noise faded, the sky cleared, and the pilot's voice breathed through the speakers. Threat neutralized, returning to safe flight path. Jessy slumped in her seat, shaking violently. Adams sat back down, watching her with unreadable eyes. After a long silence, Jessy whispered, "Is this what your life is? Running? Fighting? Almost dying?" Adams didn't hesitate. "Yes." Jessy stared at him. "And you dragged me into it." Adams leaned forward. No, he said softly. You walked into it when you refused to leave me on that street. And because of that, you deserve truth. Jessy's breathing steadied. Her hands lowered. And finally, he said it. The secret. The one he had been holding back. The one that started everything. Jessy, the attack on me wasn't the beginning. It was retaliation. Jessy blinked. Retaliation for what? Adams locked eyes with her. For what I stole. Jessy's heart slammed into her ribs. What did you steal? Adams exhaled heavily. A list, he said. A classified list of powerful people running illegal operations through PrimeWorks. Jessy's voice shook. And now they want it back? No, Adams corrected. They want to make sure it never sees the light of day. Jessy swallowed. Where is it now? Adams stared at her for a long moment. Then he said, You're sitting next to it. Jessy's blood ran cold. I what? Adams nodded. When they attacked me, I hid the drive. On the street. Near where you found me. Jessy's voice dropped to a whisper. And someone picked it up? Adams nodded once. You. Jessy felt the world tilt. I didn't see anything. No, not the drive itself. Adams said, But what it's disguised as? Jessy's mind raced. Her bag, her shoes, her jacket, her pocket, her ID badge, her backpack, her old, worn-out backpack she dropped on the street, her backpack that she picked up in a rush, her backpack that felt heavier last night, her backpack sitting right beside her right now. Jessy slowly turned her head, staring at it. Adams whispered, The evidence that can expose a global conspiracy is inside your bag. Jessy stopped breathing. Jessy reached for the zipper with trembling fingers. Adams watched her carefully. And just as she began to open the backpack, the helicopter intercom cut in. Sir, we have another problem. Jessy froze. Adams' eyes narrowed. What is it? The pilot's voice shook. Someone activated a beacon inside the girl's bag. Jessy's blood turned to ice. A beacon. A tracker. A signal. Going out. Right now. Adams whispered. They know exactly where you are. The helicopter shook. And Jessy Thorn realized. This was an escape. This was a countdown. Before we jump further, tell me in the comments. If you found out a global conspiracy was hidden in your backpack, what would you do? Hit subscribe, because we are about to reveal what's inside the bag and who's coming to claim it. The helicopter went dead silent. No one spoke. No one moved. Even the air felt like it froze. Jessy stared at her bag, her worn-out, faded brown backpack with a broken zipper and frayed straps, like it suddenly turned into a live bomb, because maybe it had. The pilot's voice cracked through the speaker. Sir, the beacon pinged twice. Someone activated it remotely. It's transmitting coordinates. Jessy's heart dropped to her feet. Coordinates. Her coordinates. Adams stood up so fast the helicopter wobbled. Kill the beacon, he ordered. The pilot stuttered. I can't. The signal isn't coming from the pack. It's coming from the contents inside. Jessy sucked in a sharp breath. Inside her bag. The bag sitting inches from her leg. The bag containing the drive she didn't know she picked up. A drive someone was willing to kill a billionaire for. Adams turned to her. Jessy, give me the bag. Jessy didn't move. Her voice came out thin, shaky. Is it going to explode? No, Adams answered. But it's going to get us killed if we don't move fast. The helicopter jerked again. Harder this time. Rattling everyone inside. The pilot shouted. 2 incoming bogies. Fast approach. Jessy's chest tightened. Bogies. Helicopters. Adams said darkly. The ones we evaded earlier weren't retreating. They were circling out to follow the beacon. Jessy's hands trembled as she reached for the backpack. I didn't even know. I just picked it up. I wasn't thinking. Adams grabbed her shoulder firmly. This is not your fault. Jessy's vision blurred. I'm just a warehouse worker. I didn't ask for this. But you're involved now, Adams said. And if we don't get ahead of them, we're not walking away from this. Jessy blinked away the tears and pulled the backpack into her lap. Her hands hovered over the zipper. "Jessy," Adams said quietly, "when you open that bag, everything changes." She nodded. Then, slowly, carefully, she unzipped the backpack. Click. Her breath hitched. Inside the bag was her usual stuff. Her notebook, her cheap lunch container, her phone charger, her lip balm. But under those, a black, rectangular object the size of a credit card. Slim, smooth, matte, almost invisible, and glowing faint blue. Jessy's voice cracked. What is that?" Adams exhaled sharply. "That's not a drive," he said. "That's a Q-core." Jessy stared blankly. "A what?" "It's a quantum encrypted intelligence core," Adams explained. "The most secure data vault ever built. It can store an entire archive of classified information. Names, routes, bribe transfers, operations, crime networks, off-the-record government deals." Jessy felt her heartbeat in her throat. "And you stole this?" "No," Adam's eyes hardened. "I created it. And I hid it when I realized the wrong people were using it." Jessy covered her mouth. "So, this thing contains proof of everything shady going on at Primeworks." "And more," Adam said. "It contains proof of who runs them and who they answer to." Jessy swallowed hard. "Who?" Adams looked away. "People you're not ready to hear about." Jessy's hands trembled over the core. "So I've been carrying this around since last night, and someone tracked it?" Adams nodded. "Yes. Whoever tried to kill me activated a locator inside the Q-core to find whoever picked it up." The helicopter shook violently again. Jessy screamed as the entire cabin tilted. "Sir," the pilot yelled, "they're closing in. We can't outrun them. They're too fast." Adams radioed back, voice steady. "Redirect. Take us to Sanctuary." Jessy grabbed the seat. "SCNC Turi? What is that?" Adams strapped himself in. "A safe house. One of mine." Jessy frowned. "One of how many?" Adams didn't answer, which told Jessy everything. "A lot." The helicopter banked hard, dropping altitude so quickly Jessy felt her stomach lurch. Behind them, two dark aircraft sliced through the clouds. Jessy watched them through the window. Black helicopters with no markings, fly in precise formation. No insignia. No ID lights. Trained. Coordinated. Deadly. "Sir," the pilot cried out, "if they fire on us at this distance." "They won't," Adam said. "They need the Q-core intact." Jessy looked at him. "They won't shoot, but they'll kill us as soon as we land, right?" Adams didn't answer. Jessy laughed bitterly. "Wow, that's comforting." Her laugh turned into a shaky exhale. The helicopter dove behind a row of storm clouds, weaving between skyscraper air lanes. Jessy's nails dug into the seat cushion. The pursuing helicopters closed in. One on the left, one on the right. Jessy's chest tightened painfully. "They're boxing us in." Adams leaned toward the pilot. "Release flare field." Jessy blinked. "Release what?" The pilot flipped a switch. Suddenly, dozens of tiny metallic spheres shot out the sides of the helicopter, scattering into the air like silver raindrops. Jessy stared. "What are those?" "Proximity scramblers," Adam said. "They'll confuse their sensors." The enemy helicopters jerked once, twice, struggling to stabilize. "Sir, they lost lock," the pilot announced. Jessy exhaled in relief, but only for 3 seconds, because the aircraft on the left pulled a maneuver Jessy had never seen in her life. It climbed straight up, paused, then dove like a hawk, spinning into position behind them. Jessy screamed. "They got behind us." The pilot shouted. "They're not breaking off. They're committing to capture." Jessy looked at Adams. "What do we do?" Adams stared at the approaching helicopter. Cold, calculated, expression turning into something dangerous. "We do the one thing they won't expect." Jessy grabbed the seat. "What's that?" "We land." Jessy's jaw dropped. "Land? Are you insane?" "Landing forces them to change tactics," Adam said calmly. "In the air, they control the conditions. On the ground, I control them." Jessy stared at him like he'd lost his mind. But the pilot didn't question the order. Preparing descent. Jessy squeezed her eyes shut. This is how I die. The helicopter spiraled downward toward a large, abandoned industrial complex on the city outskirts. Rusty roofs, broken signs, crumbling cement. Jessy looked horrified. This is your safe house. Adams didn't look away from a window. Sanctuary has many forms. They touched down hard, the skid screeching on concrete. Jessy fumbled with her seatbelt. We gotta run. No, Adams said firmly. You stay with me. The door slid open. Jessy clutched the Q-core close to her chest. Are they really going to land too? A shadow swept over them. The enemy helicopters descended, both, side by side. Jessy whispered, "Oh, God!" Figures climbed out, armed, masked, silent, moving like soldiers trained for one purpose. Capture, retrieve, eliminate. Jessy stepped back, heart roaring in her ears. Adams, what do they want with me? The Q-core, Adams said, and anyone attached to it. Jessy shook her head. You said I didn't do anything. You didn't, Adams replied, but that won't matter to them. Jessy's breath trembled as the armed team approached. Adams, what do we do? Adams stepped forward. Calm, controlled, deadly. We negotiate. Jessy stared at him. Negotiate? With people who tried to kill you. Adams turned to her, eyes blazing with something sharp. Jessy, they don't want you dead. Jessy frowned. Then what do they want? Adams inhaled deeply. They want me. Jessy blinked. What do you mean, they want you? Adams stepped in front of her protectively. Because if they get me, the Q-core is useless. Jessy's blood turned to ice. Adams, tell me the truth. He looked her dead in the eyes. I'm the only one who can unlock it. Jessy's knees almost buckled. Adams whispered one more sentence, the one that shattered her understanding of everything so far. And they're here to take me. Before Jessy could respond, a voice boomed across the concrete. Adams Smoke, stand down. Hand yourself over, or everyone with you dies. Jessy's throat closed. Everyone with you. Her, the pilot. Anyone inside Sanctuary. Jessy clutched the Q-core tighter. The armed men leveled their weapons. Adams took one step forward and whispered without turning around. Jessy, when I move, run. The armed strike team raised their rifles in unison. Lasers aimed at Adams' chest. Jessy's heart stopped. Adams exhaled, stepped forward, and said, Come get me, then. The rifles clicked. Jessy screamed. But the moment the first shot fired, Adams' Smoke vanished. Not disappeared. Not ducked. He vanished, right in front of her. And the strike team panicked. Jessy's eyes widened. What was that? But there was no time to think, because the next moment, a hand grabbed her shoulder from behind. She spun around, and Adams was standing there, whispering, Run. Now I need to hear from you in the comments. How would you react if armed men surrounded you over something you didn't even know you were carrying? Hit subscribe. Run. That one word hit Jessy's spine like lightning. Before she could even scream, Adams yanked her backward just as a barrage of gunfire ripped through the air where she had been standing. Concrete shattered. Dust exploded upward. The air shook with violence. Jessy stumbled, nearly falling, adrenaline turning her legs into rubber. Go, Jessy. Adams barked, shoving her toward the far end of the abandoned complex. She didn't think. She didn't look back. She ran. Her heart pounded so loud she could hardly hear the world around her, but she felt it. The bullets, the footsteps, the shouting soldiers closing in. The Q-core clutched to her chest like a lifeline. Her lungs burned. Her vision blurred. Her knees screamed. Jessy Thorn didn't run like someone trained for danger. She ran like someone running from death. Behind her, chaos. Adams had thrown himself straight into the line of fire, drawing all the attention toward him. Jessy heard one of the soldiers shout, Do not engage the girl. Target is Adams' Smoke. Jessy's breath caught. They weren't here for her. Not yet. But if Adams fell, they'd come for her next. She dove between rusted cargo crates as bullets tore through the metal. Ping, 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 ping. Jessy curled into herself. Oh, God, oh, God. A heavy clang hit the floor beside her. A canister. Jessy gasped. Smoke grenade. White vapor exploded out, swallowing her. She coughed violently, stumbling forward blindly. Jessy! Adam's voice echoed from somewhere in the fog. Keep moving. Jessy couldn't see anything but swirling white haze. She tripped over a pipe, slammed into a wall, and kept pushing herself forward. Her entire body trembled. Her head spun. She didn't know where she was running, just that she had to. A silhouette emerged in the smoke ahead. Tall, broad, holding a rifle. Jessy froze. Her chest stopped moving. The soldier raised his weapon. Aim. Steady. Locked. Jessy whispered, "No, please don't." A blur slammed into the soldier from the side. Jessy jumped back as Adams materialized out of thin air, literally appearing behind the soldier like teleportation. Jessy gasped, "What? How did you do that?" Adams didn't answer. He twisted the soldier's arm, disarmed him, and knocked him unconscious in 3 moves so fast Jessy barely saw them. Then he grabbed Jessy's hand and pulled her. "Move!" She stumbled forward with him, her legs struggling to keep up. The smoke thinned, revealing more soldiers closing in around the perimeter. They were forming a circle. A trap. Jessy's voice cracked. "We're surrounded." Adams glanced around quickly. "No, we're not." Jessy blinked. "We're literally..." Before she could finish, Adams tapped something on his wrist device. A high-pitched hum filled the air. Jessy frowned. "What's that?" "Cover," Adams said. Suddenly, the lights inside the entire industrial complex flickered violently. Then boom. Darkness. Total blackout. Jessy gasped. "I can't see." "Stay with me," Adams whispered. "Don't let go." Jessy clutched his hand like a lifeline as he pulled her through the blackness. Gunshots erupted from the soldiers, but they were shooting blind. The darkness was absolute, the air thick with smoke and broken concrete. Jessy heard footsteps all around her, but couldn't tell if they were friend or foe. Her breathing grew frantic. "Adams, I can't see anything." "Focus on my voice," he whispered. "Left. Step. Down. Now right. Don't stop." Jessy obeyed every command, her mind losing track of time, direction, gravity. Everything except the feeling of Adam's hand in hers. They moved deeper into the complex until finally, a faint blue light flickered ahead. Jessy exhaled in relief. "What is that?" "Emergency exit tunnel," Adams said. "Once we're in, they'll lose sight of us." Footsteps thundered behind them. Soldiers giving chase. Jessy clutched the Q cord tighter. "We're not going to make it." "Yes, we will." Adams lifted his wrist. Click. The ground beneath them shifted. Jessy screamed as a metal platform suddenly descended from beneath her feet, dropping straight down into darkness. "Adams!" Whoosh! The platform stopped abruptly, landing inside a narrow underground corridor lit by dim blue neon. Jessy grabbed onto the railing, gasping, What is this place?" "A maintenance shaft," Adams said. "Built into the foundation decades ago. No one but me knows about it." Jessy stared at him. "You built this?" Adams didn't answer, which meant yes. Of course he did. Footsteps clanged above them. Soldiers reaching the edge of the tunnel, but unable to see down. "Sir," one soldier called out. "They've vanished." Jessy felt a chilling realization. Adams didn't just know how to escape. He had built the escape. For himself. For emergencies. For situations exactly like this. Jessy stumbled along the tunnel, still shaking. "Adams! How long have you been planning for something like this?" Adams kept walking. "Longer than you think." Jessy swallowed. "Are you going to tell me the truth?" He slowed. "The whole truth?" "Yes." Adams nodded once. "And you will. But first..." A shadow moved at the end of the corridor. Jessy froze. "Is that..." A figure stepped forward. Jessy screamed, but Adams grabbed her arm. "It's okay. The figure walked into the light. A woman, tall, sharp-featured, dressed in a sleek black tactical suit. Half her hair shaved. A scar across her eyebrow. Eyes like she'd stared death in the face and won. "Jessy Thorn," she said, voice calm and dangerous. "I've been waiting for you." Jessy stepped back. Adams nodded respectfully. "Jessy, this is Mara Cade." Mara smirked. "Adams, second in command. And the only reason you're still breathing." Jessy blinked. I don't understand." Mara stepped closer, her gaze inspecting Jessy like she was analyzing a weapon, not a person. "So you're the woman who saved his life." Jessy swallowed. "I didn't know who he was." Mara tilted her head. "That's exactly why he trusts you." Jessy frowned. "What do you mean?" Mara looked at Adams, then back at Jessy. "Because Jessy, everyone in his world wants something from him." Jessy felt her pulse slow. "And you're the first person in years who wanted nothing." Jessy didn't know what to say. Adams stepped between them. "Mara, we need to secure the Q-Core." Mara's expression hardened. "You brought it here?" "I didn't bring it," Adams corrected. Jessy did. Mara's eyes snapped to the backpack. Jessy tightened her grip defensively. Mara exhaled. "Give it to me," she ordered. Jessy stepped back. "No, not until someone tells me what's going on." Mara's jaw ticked. "She has fire," Mara muttered. "Great." Adams raised a hand. "She deserves answers." Jessy felt a flicker of courage. "I'm not moving until someone tells me why people are trying to kill me." Her voice echoed down the tunnel. Adams sighed. Then he looked Jessy dead in the eyes. "Jessy, the people hunting us aren't just after the Q-Core." Jessy swallowed. "What else do they want?" Adams hesitated. And for the first time since she met him, Jessy saw fear in his eyes. "They want something only you carry now." Jessy stiffened. "Me? What do I have?" Adams stepped closer. "You have the last thing I touch before they ambush me." Jessy frowned. "What thing?" "Mara," Adams said quietly. "Tell her." Mara exhaled slowly. Then she said the words that broke Jessy's entire understanding of the past 24 hours. "Jessy, you left the scene too fast." Jessy blinked. "What?" "I stayed with him." "No," Mara whispered. "You left something behind." Jessy's heartbeat stopped. "What did I leave?" Mara stepped closer. "You didn't just pick up the Q-Core." She paused. "You also picked up the tracker they planted." Jessy's blood ran cold. "Tracker?" Mara nodded. "They didn't track the Q-Core." Jessy froze. Mara finished. "They tracked you." Jessy staggered backward. She wasn't being hunted because of what was in her bag. She was being hunted because they tagged her. Her, Jessy Thorn, the nobody warehouse worker, the expendable girl. Adams stepped forward, voice low. "Jessy, you're not a loose end anymore." He swallowed hard. "You're the key." Jessy stared, speechless, terrified. And then, above them, the tunnel ceiling rumbled violently. Dust fell. Metal groaned. Mara's eyes widened. They found the shaft. Jessy clutched the wall. Adams whispered, "We're out of time." Before we go further, answer this in the comments. What would you do if you discovered you were the one being tracked, not the billion-dollar device? Hit subscribe. We are getting to where Jessy learns the truth, and the truth cuts deeper than bullets. The ceiling shook again. Dust rained down like falling ash. Pipes rattled. Concrete cracked above their heads. Jessy pressed herself against the wall, gripping the Q-Core so tightly her fingers went numb. "Adams," she whispered, voice trembling. "They're breaking through." Mara looked up sharply. "No, they're cutting in." Jessy blinked. "Cutting in?" Mara nodded once, expression dark. "They know a tunnel collapse could kill you, and they need you alive. So they'll use thermal cutters instead of explosives." Jessy felt her knees buckle. "They're carving a hole to get me?" Adam stepped forward, steadying her. "Jessy, look at me." She forced her eyes up. "I know this feels impossible," he said, "but I promise you we'll get out of here." Jessy swallowed hard, panic breath shaking her chest. "Why me, Adams?" "Why? I'm not special. I'm not trained. I'm not rich. I'm not. Adams tightened his grip on her arm. You're alive. Jessy frowned. That does not feel comforting right now. Adams exhaled. What I mean is, they didn't expect you to survive the night of my attack. They didn't expect anyone to help me. And they especially didn't expect someone to pick up what they dropped. Jessy's eyes widened. Dropped? Mara held up a small metallic chip between two gloved fingers. Jessy gasped. Is that? Yes, Mara said. This was found wedged in your backpack strap. The tracker. You picked it up when you lifted Adams. Jessy felt the world tilt sideways. So, when I helped him, I accidentally tagged myself. Mara nodded. And the moment you got home, the beacon activated because it detected movement and body heat. Jessy covered her face. Oh my God! I brought this home? With my mom there. Adam stepped closer. You didn't know. And none of this is your fault. But Jessy wasn't listening. Her mind was spinning with images. Her mother coughing. Her apartment. Her neighbors. Helicopters shaking her street. She'd lived her whole life trying to avoid trouble, and now she'd brought a war to her front door. She felt guilt crash over her like a wave. I put my mom in danger. I put my whole building in danger. No, Adam said sharply. Your mother was never the target. Jessy blinked. But they followed me. To you, Adam said. Not to her. They want the tracker, the Q-core, the data, and... His voice dropped. They want me. Jessy's breath caught. Why you? Mara turned sharply. Adams, we don't have time. She deserves to know. Adam snapped. Mara clenched her jaw, but said nothing. Jessy swallowed. What are you not telling me? Adams looked at her like he'd been carrying this truth alone for years. Jessy, the conspiracy the Q-core exposes isn't just business corruption, not just weapons trafficking, not just bribery. He stepped closer. It's a shadow network inside our own government. Jessy stared at him. You mean like a secret group? Adams nodded. A black-tier coalition operating outside all oversight. They call themselves the Echo Chamber. Jessy frowned. Echo Chamber? Because every decision they make, Adams said, reverberates through the whole nation without anyone knowing who made the original sound. Jessy shivered. How long have they existed? Mara answered this time. Longer than Adams has been alive. Long enough to build alliances, bury evidence, rewrite history, and infiltrate corporations like PrimeWorks. Jessy's eyes widened. So PrimeWorks works for them? No, Mara said. PrimeWorks is a puppet. The Echo Chamber is pulling strings so deep the puppets don't even know they're dancing. Jessy hugged the Q-core to her chest. And this thing has information on them? Adams nodded. Yes, but it's incomplete. Jessy frowned. What does that mean? Adams inhaled. It means I didn't steal the entire archive. I only got half before they found me. Jessy stiffened. And the other half? Adams' jaw tightened. In the hands of the Echo Chamber. Jessy's stomach dropped. So you're telling me this tiny black card holds half the evidence needed to expose an entire secret government group? Yes. And they think I have the other half. Yes. And that's why they're chasing us. Adams looked her straight in the eyes. That's why they'll do anything to get you. Jessy staggered back. Her voice cracked. Adams! You should have left me at home. You should have run. You shouldn't have. He cut her off. I wasn't going to leave you to die. Jessy froze. Something strange flickered in Adam's eyes. Something protective. Something heavy. Something he didn't say, but Jessy felt. Mara broke the moment. The cutters are almost through, she said, pointing at the glowing lines forming on the tunnel ceiling. Jessy swallowed. What happens if they break in? Mara didn't sugarcoat it. They'll capture Adams, kill the pilot, and take you. Jessy felt her knees weaken. Take me where? Mara's voice dropped to a whisper. Somewhere you never return from. Jessy's breath hitched. Adams stepped in front of her again. That won't happen. The ceiling cracked louder. Sparks fell like burning snow. A hot blade of light sliced through the concrete. Jessy screamed and grabbed Adam's arm. "They're here! Adams, they're here!" Mara whipped out a small detonator-like device. But instead of an explosive, a blinding flash of blue light burst from the ceiling, widening the hole. Jessy shrieked. Figures in tactical suits began lowering through the opening, ropes dangling, their rifles already aimed. Mara hissed, "Adams, now!" Adams grabbed Jessy's wrist. "Jessy, listen to me." She shook violently. "What?" "Whatever happens, do not let go of the Q-core." "I what?" "Why?" "Because without it," Adams said, "we lose everything." Jessy's eyes filled with tears. "But what if they catch me?" "They won't," Adams said. A soldier dropped fully through the opening, landing on the tunnel floor. Jessy gasped. He aimed right at Adams. Target locked. Boom! A flash bang erupted in his face, hurled expertly by Mara. Jessy stumbled as Adams pulled her backward. Mara shouted, "Retreat, Route B! Move!" Jessy and Adams burst into a narrow maintenance passage. The lights flickered. The air smelled like oil and metal. Shouts and boots thundered behind them. Jessy gasped. Where does this tunnel even lead? Adams didn't slow down. To the only safe place left. Jessy gulped. What place is that? Then she heard it. A mechanical rumble. Deep, powerful. Awakening. They turned the corner, and Jessy froze in awe. In front of them sat a massive armored vehicle hidden in the dark. Sleek. Black. Tank-like, but fast. Lights glowing faint blue across its frame. Jessy whispered, "What is that?" Adams reached for the biometric scanner. "Our exit." Jessy blinked. "You built that." "Not me," Adams said. "Mara." Jessy's jaw dropped. Mara smirked. "You're welcome." But before Jessy could climb in, a bullet sparked off the metal beside her. Jessy screamed. More soldiers flooded the tunnel. Mara shouted, "We're compromised. Go, go, go." Adams shoved Jessy into the vehicle. "Jessy, belt on now." She scrambled into the seat. Adams slid in beside her, slamming the door shut. Mara jumped into the driver's seat. "Hold on." Jessy screamed. "What do you mean?" "Hold, oh!" The vehicle roared to life, and Mara slammed the accelerator. The armored transport exploded forward, straight into darkness, straight into danger, straight into the next act of the war Jessy never asked for. As the vehicle shot through the underground tunnel, Jessy clutched the Q-core with shaking hands. Behind them, gunfire, screams, boots pounding the cement. Ahead of them, only one direction, only one hope, only one truth Jessy couldn't escape. She was no longer a witness. She was a target, and she carried evidence that could burn an entire empire to ashes. Adams leaned close and whispered, "Jessy, after this, your life will never be the same." Jessy wiped a tear. "I know." But deep inside, beneath the fear, a fire began to burn. Because Jessy Thorn wasn't going to die as a pawn. She was about to rise as something else. Something the echo chamber never prepared for. Before we move on, comment below. Do you think Jessy should hand the Q-core over to Adams? Or keep it with her for her own safety? Hit subscribe. The armored vehicle tore through the underground tunnel like a steel beast awakened from a long sleep. Concrete walls blurred. Sparks flew from metal grates. The engine rumbled like thunder trapped in a cage. Jessy sat pressed against her seat, gripping the Q-core as though her life depended on it. Because now, it did. Adams kept one hand braced on the door and one hand on Jessy's shoulder, keeping her steady as Mara drove with lethal precision. "Hold tight," Mara warned. "Tunnel ends in 70 meters. Jessy's breath hitched. "And then what happens when we reach the end?" Mara smirked without looking back. "We don't reach the end." Jessy blinked. "What does that?" Boom! The vehicle burst through a reinforced steel barrier. Jessy screamed as the armored truck smashed the metal like paper and shot upward, literally upward, up a steep, spiraling ramp Jessy hadn't even seen. Lights burst across her vision. Jessy slammed back into her seat as the vehicle accelerated up the incline. "Mara..." Adams barked. How long until they breach the tunnel? 30 seconds, Mara answered sharply. Maybe less. Jessy pressed the Q-core against her chest. Her heart was hammering so loudly she could barely hear the engine anymore. They emerged from the underground passage into a huge subterranean chamber, like a hidden garage carved into the earth. Jessy gasped. What is this place? Storage bay, Adams explained. One of our secondary sanctuaries. Jessy's eyes widened at what she saw. Vehicles, weapons, emergency supplies, screens, tools, gear, all hidden beneath the city. Jessy's voice trembled. You prepared all of this just in case? Adams didn't answer because they didn't get a chance. The chamber shook violently. Jessy screamed as the far wall exploded inward. Concrete shattered. Debris flew. Dust billowed. Soldiers sprinted through the breach, rifles drawn. Jessy ducked instinctively. Adams, they're here. Mara slammed the brakes and spun the vehicle with sharp, controlled drift that sent soldiers scattering. Out! She shouted. Jessy scrambled out of the vehicle with Adams' help. Her legs almost gave out, but Adams caught her. Stay close, he ordered. Mara jumped out last, weapons drawn. They're not backing off, she said. 30 men or more. Jessy's voice cracked. We can't take 30. We're not fighting 30, Adams said, grabbing Jessy's arm and pulling her toward an elevator shaft. We're escaping. Mara covered their retreat with precise shots that took out 3 men instantly. Jessy flinched. You're not even aiming. How are you hitting them? Martin looked back. I don't aim. I calculate. Jessy didn't understand what that meant, but she didn't have time to ask. They reached the elevator. Adams pressed his palm against the biometric panel. Nothing happened. Jessy's stomach dropped. It's not working. Adams cursed under his breath. They're jamming the power grid. Jessy felt panic rise. What do we do? Mara glanced at Adams. Plan B? Adams nodded. Plan B. Jessy blinked. What is Plan B? Without warning, Adams smashed the emergency access panel, ripped out a set of wires, and twisted them together. The elevator doors jerked open. Jessy gasped. That's not how elevators work. That's how this one works, Adams said. Jessy muttered under her breath. I need therapy after this. Gunfire echoed behind them. Go! Mara shouted. Jessy jumped into the elevator cage with Adams. Mara followed last. The elevator shot upward at terrifying speed, fast enough to knock Jessy off balance. She grabbed Adams' jacket. Where does this even go? Street level. Adams said, a secure zone. Jessy's mind raced. No place is secure anymore. But before Adams could respond, the elevator jolted violently. Jessy screamed. What was that? The sound came again. Then louder. Something was climbing up the elevator shaft. Mara's eyes widened. Impossible to have a crawler. Jessy blinked. A what? Adams grabbed Mara's arm. They deployed a tunnel crawler. They're climbing after us. Jessy went pale. Are you telling me they have elevator climbing machines? Mara nodded grimly. Capable of drilling through the shaft. If it reaches us. Jessy swallowed. We die. Adams nodded once. Or worse. Jessy hugged the Q-core tighter. Oh, great. That's just what I needed to hear. The elevator lurched again. A horrible metal screech filled the shaft. Jessy covered her ears. What do we do? We're stuck in a metal coffin. Mara flicked open a hidden panel inside the elevator wall. Jessy blinked. Of course there's a secret panel. Why wouldn't there be? Mara pulled out a compact cylindrical device with glowing blue lines. What is that? Jessy whispered. A sonic charge, Mara said. It'll disconnect the crawler. Jessy's eyes widened. Disconnect? As in knock it off the shaft. No, Mara said. As in vaporize it. Jessy's mouth fell open. Wait. Don't vaporize anything while we're in the shaft. Mara pressed the device against the elevator wall, right where the crawler was drilling through. The screeching metal grew louder. Closer. Jessy shut her eyes tight. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die in an elevator. I always feared elevators, and this is why. I need you to breathe, Adams said calmly, gripping her arm. Breathing is hard when a robot bug is trying to kill US. The elevator shook so violently Jessy fell forward, straight into Adam's arms. He caught her effortlessly. Jessy's heart raced from fear, but something else flickered in her chest. Not now, Jessy. Not now, Mara whispered. 3. Jessy held her breath. 2. The metal under them buckled. 1. Mara slammed the activation switch. The device detonated. A violent bass tremor erupted to the shaft, a wave of sound so powerful Jessy felt in her teeth. Boom! The crawler screeched. Then a sizzling roar echoed downward. Silence. The elevator steadied. Jessy clung to Adams. Did it work? Mara nodded. It's gone. But so is the elevator stability. Jessy's throat closed. Meaning? Adams braced his hand against the wall. We need to jump. Jessy blinked. Jump? Yes, Adams said, before the shaft collapses. Jessy stared at him like he'd lost his mind. I'm sorry, jump? Where? How? Onto what? Mara chimed in. The emergency landing corridor. 2 floors down. Jessy screamed. 2 floors. You want me to jump 2 floors onto what? Hope. The elevator buckled again. Adams grabbed Jessy's face gently, forcing her to meet his eyes. Jessy, he said, voice calm, low, steady. If you don't jump, you die. Jessy's eyes widened. That doesn't help calm me. But Adams didn't wait. He pried open the elevator doors with his bare hands. Jessy couldn't believe it. Adams, you're not human. He glanced back. Never said I was normal. Jessy had no time to process that. Below them, a narrow maintenance platform gleamed under flickering red lights. Mara leaped first, landing like a panther. Jessy! Adams shouted. Now! I can't. Yes, you can. Jessy's legs shook violently. She hugged the Q-core. She took 1 breath. 2. Then she jumped. She screamed the entire way down. But strong arms caught her. Adams pulled her safely onto platform. Jessy looked up, shaking. You jumped after me? Adams smirked. I wasn't going to let you fall alone. Jessy's cheeks warmed, but she pushed the feeling aside. Great. Wonderful. Perfect. We're alive. So what next? Mara pointed toward a metal hatch. We get out, and we face our real problem. Jessy frowned. Real problem? What could be worse than this? Mara's eyes narrowed. Someone inside our team opened the tunnel access for the strike squad. Jessy froze. You mean? Adams stepped forward, jaw tight. Yes. He looked at Jessy with heavy eyes. We've been betrayed. Jessy's heart sank. By who? Before she could speak, a metallic click echoed behind them. Jessy turned, and her mouth dropped open, because standing at the far end of the maintenance platform, holding a weapon, was someone Jessy never expected. A familiar face. A face she trusted. A face she'd met earlier. A face who smiled at her before. Jessy, the person said coldly. Give me the Q-core. Jessy stumbled back. Her voice cracked. You. Jessy's hand shook violently. Her breath froze. Because the traitor was someone she trusted. Someone Adams trusted. Someone who now pointed a gun straight at her heart. Jessy, the voice repeated. Give me the core. Adams stepped in front of Jessy, but the traitor adjusted aim. Move, Adams, or I put her on the ground. Jessy whispered in horror. Why would you do this? But the traitor only smiled. Cold, empty, deadly. Before we go, tell me in the comments, who do you think betrayed them and why? Hit subscribe, because we are about to reveal the traitor's motive, and Jessy's fate hangs by a thread. Jessy's breath froze in her chest. Her eyes locked onto the familiar face staring back at her from across the maintenance platform, a face she never expected to see, with a gun pointed in her direction. Agent Lorne, the same man who'd been in the ambulance zone the night she saved Adams. The same man who pretended to be part of the rescue team. The same man who smirked when he scanned her Prime Works badge and told her she'd be fired. Jessy staggered backward. You? Lauren's expression didn't change. Cold, emotionless, mechanical. Yes, Jessy, he said calmly. Me. Adam stepped in front of Jessy immediately, shielding her with his own body. But Lauren didn't flinch. He simply adjusted his aim. One slight movement. Straight at Jessy's heart. Adams, Lauren warned. Move. Now. Adams' voice dropped to something lethal. You betray me and then threaten her? You'd better be ready to die today. Lauren chuckled. Adams, you still think this is about you? Jessy swallowed hard, her palms sweating around the Q-core. Mara raised her gun at Lauren. Drop it. Lauren looked amused. You think you scare me, Mara? I've watched you train. I know every move you make. Mara's eye twitched. Not every move. She shifted her footing slightly, and Lauren instantly fired a warning shot at the floor, beside her boot. Jessy jumped. Adams pulled her closer. Lauren smirked. Try that again. I dare you. The tension tightened like a noose. Silence. Breathless. Suffocating. Jessy whispered. Why are you doing this? Lauren's cold eyes flicked to her. Because you shouldn't exist in this equation, Jessy Thorn. Jessy's throat closed. What? Lauren stepped closer. You were never meant to be part of this. You were a background civilian, a nobody. And yet, his lip curled. You ruined everything. Jessy shook her head, fear and anger rising like fire inside her chest. I saved a man's life. No, Lauren snapped. You interfered with strategic elimination. Jessy's blood went cold. Elimination? You mean Adams? Lauren nodded. That alley attack wasn't random violence. It was a sanctioned hit. We were ordered to remove him and extract the Q-core. Jessy's stomach twisted. You were one of them. You were part of the attack team. Lauren tilted his head slightly. Correct. But the mission went sideways when you showed up out of nowhere. Jessy felt sick. Her voice trembled. Those hoodlums. Those men beating him were your men? Operatives, Lauren corrected. Not hoodlums. They were trained, controlled, efficient, until you disrupted the timeline. Jessy gripped the Q-core tighter. And now you're here to finish the job. Lauren shrugged. Not exactly. Killing Adams would trigger too many alarms. But taking you, that gives the echo chamber leverage. Jessy's heart hammered. You want to use me to force him to open the Q-core. Lauren smirked. Smart girl. Adams stepped forward. You're not touching her. Lauren rolled his eyes. Adams. 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 Always the protector. You think emotions make you noble, but they make you weak. She's leverage. She's expendable. She's... Jessy didn't let him finish. She snapped. No, I'm done being expendable. The words tore out of her like thunder, surprising even Jessy herself. Lauren blinked. Jessy stepped around Adams slightly, adrenaline burning through her fear. Every second since that night, she said, voice shaking. I've been scared, confused, hunted, just for doing something human. Lauren raised a brow. And now I'm supposed to hand over the one thing keeping all of you from killing each other? She lifted the Q-core. This doesn't belong to you. Lauren tightened his grip on his weapon. Jessy, don't make me. Make you what? Jessy shouted. Shoot me? Use me? Drag me into some underground hell, because people like you don't see people like me as worth anything. Her voice cracked. Adam's eyes softened. Mara stared. Even Lauren hesitated for a split second. Jessy glared at him through tears. Guess what? I don't answer to you. I don't belong to you. I don't belong to any corrupted shadow group. Then Jessy pressed a Q-core to her chest protectively. This stays with me. Lauren sighed. Then you die with it. Jessy froze. The air thickened. Lauren adjusted his stance. Finger on the trigger. Mara whispered sharply, Jessy, move! But she couldn't. Her legs felt cemented to the floor. Her heartbeat roared in her ears. Adams lunged to shield her. Bang! The shot echoed through the tunnel. Jessy screamed. But she wasn't hit. Instead, the bullet hit the wall behind her, because at the last second, Lauren jerked violently as a blade pierced his shoulder from behind. Jessy gasped, "What?" Lauren spun around, snarling in pain, ripping the blade from his shoulder. Someone had attacked him. Someone Jessy didn't expect. A figure stepped out from the shadows behind Lauren. A woman, short hair, face bruised, body trembling, but standing strong. Jessy's breath caught. "Emma?" Jessy nearly fainted. It was her mother, Jessy's mother, holding a metal rod, like she'd swung it with everything left in her fragile body. "Don't touch my baby," her mother growled. Jessy's eyes filled instantly with tears. "Mama, what are you doing here?" Her mother panted. "When those fly machines landed, I knew you were in trouble." Jessy couldn't speak. She wanted to run to her mother, hug her, collapse into her arms. But Lauren was still standing, still breathing, still armed, bleeding but furious. "You," Lauren snarled, turning toward Jessy's mother, "have made a very big mistake." Jessy's mother lifted the rod again. Adam stepped forward protectively. "You're not touching her." Mara aimed her weapon. "Try it." Lauren's eyes flicked from Mara to Adam to Jessy to the Q-Core. Then he smiled. A cold, chilling, victorious smile. "You think this ends here?" he whispered. He pressed a button on his wrist. Jessy's stomach dropped. Adam's eyes widened. "Run. Now!" Jessy screamed. "What did he do?" Lauren's voice echoed as he stepped backward into the shadows of the tunnel. "I've already called them." Jessy's blood froze. "Called who?" Lauren grinned. "The Echo Chamber's elite recovery unit." Jessy's heart stopped. Adams grabbed her mother. Mara grabbed Jessy. Above them, a rumbling roar shook the entire complex. Jessy's eyes widened in terror. They weren't alone anymore. A full strike platoon was descending upon Sanctuary. The walls trembled. Lights flickered. Dust rained down like the beginning of an avalanche. Jessy clutched the Q-Core with one hand, and her mother with the other. Adams shouted, "Everyone move!" before they sealed this entire facility with us inside. Jessy felt her chest tighten. Her mother wheezed. The Q-Core pulsed. The floor vibrated. And Jessy realized the Echo Chamber wasn't hunting Adams anymore. They were coming for her. Before we push further, tell me in the comments, what would you do if the people chasing you now brought your mother into the crossfire? Hit subscribe, because we are about to bring the first major death in this story. The ground trembled so violently Jessy thought the entire underground facility would collapse on top of them. Dust rained from the ceiling. Sparks burst from the overhead lights. Sirens blared across the tunnels like the scream of a dying animal. And behind it all, the roar of descending aircraft. Adams didn't hesitate. "Move!" he shouted, grabbing Jessy's mother under the arms. Mara yanked Jessy forward by the wrist. Alarms thundered again, echoing through every steel corridor. "Warning! Perimeter breach detected. All personnel evacuate immediately." But there was no personnel. No guards. No workers. Just Jessy, Adams, Mara, and her fragile mother, running toward a future that kept collapsing behind them. The tunnel ahead lit up with flashing red lights. A steel blast door began sliding shut, slowly at first, then faster. Adam's voice boomed. "Jessy, go. Don't look back." But Jessy did look back. She saw them. Silhouettes dropping from the ceiling on black ropes. 10, 20, more. Masks, armored suits, rifles with red laser sights. The Echo Chamber's elite retrieval unit. Jessy choked on her breath. "Oh my God!" They were silent, precise, inhuman. Mara slammed Jessy against the side wall, shielding her body. "Head down. Move when I move." Jessy's mother wheezed, barely conscious. Adams lifted her like she weighed nothing. Jessy clutched the Q-Core, the device pulsing with cold, rhythmic light. Behind them, bang, bang, bang. Bullets exploded into the wall. Mara fired back, quick and controlled. "Jessy, now!" They sprinted through the narrowing gap in the blast door, just as it slammed shut behind them with a violent metallic clang. Jessy gasped for air. Are we safe? Mara shook her head. No, that door won't stop them. Not for long. She wasn't lying. Through the steel barrier, they could hear drills, machinery, metal grinding. The strike team was cutting through the door. Adams pointed to a descending staircase. Down. We can still outrun them. Jessy grabbed her mother's trembling hand. Stay with me, Mama. Please stay with me. Her mother gave a weak smile. I'm okay, baby. Just tired. Jessy's heart squeezed painfully. They rushed down the stairs into the sublevel for Mechanical Bay, a massive cavern with pipes, turbines, abandoned machinery. Jessy turned in a full panic circle. Where do we go from here? Mara scanned the room quickly. There's an access tunnel behind those turbines. Leads to the lower hangar. Jessy frowned. Hangar? I thought we were underground. Adams shot her a tight look. We are. That's where the older transport crafts are stored. Jessy blinked. You mean escape vehicles? Mara loaded a fresh clip. If they still work. Jessy groaned. You're kidding? No, Mara said flatly. We don't have the luxury of jokes. And then the grinding stopped. Silence. Not peaceful silence. Hunting silence. Adams stiffened. They're through the blast door. Jessy's mother whispered. Run! Please run. They did. The tunnel opened into a massive underground chamber, almost like a buried airport. Old hovercrafts, dusty transport pods, 2 black helicopters with missing rotors, steel crates stacked like abandoned relics. Lights flickered erratically overhead. Jessy whispered, This is huge! Why didn't you tell me this existed? Adams didn't answer. He was staring at something. Something on the far side of the room. Jessy followed his gaze and froze. There was a single functioning aircraft, a sleek, silver hybrid craft, compact, polished, humming like a sleeping predator. Mara cursed under her breath. The A-23 Sparrow. Jessy blinked. That sounds fast. Mara nodded grimly. Fast enough, but it only seats 3. 3. Jessy's heart sank. They were 4. Jessy. Adams. Mara. Her mother. Jessy's mother leaned heavily against her. Mama, stay with me. Adams hissed through clenched teeth. They'll be here in less than 60 seconds. Mara checked her weapons. Jessy, get your mother into the Sparrow. But now. Jessy obeyed. Barely. She guided her mother toward the craft. Careful, step here. I've got you. Her mother exhaled weakly. I'm just happy you're okay, baby. Jessy's chest tightened painfully. She helped her mother into the Sparrow's small passenger seat. Mama, you're safe now. Just breathe. Please breathe. Her mother gave her hand a faint squeeze. Then, a deafening explosion from the tunnel behind them. Jessy jerked around. Shadows poured in. Dozens of soldiers. Their red laser sights swept across the hangar like hungry eyes. Mara shouted, Contact, move. And then, chaos erupted. Gunfire, echoing, screaming, metal sparking. Adams shoved Jessy behind a crate. Stay down. Mara fired off calculated bursts, dropping soldier after soldier. But there were too many. Jessy tried to help her mother buckle the harness inside the Sparrow. Mama, stay awake, stay awake. Her mother whispered, I'm proud of you. Jessy froze. The words felt wrong, like a goodbye. Mama, no, don't close your eyes. Another explosion ripped through the hangar. The shock wave knocked Jessy to the floor. Adams hit the ground beside her. Mara rolled behind another crate. Jessy scrambled up and raced back to the Sparrow. Mama. Her mother lay slumped sideways. Still, silent. Jessy's heart dropped into her stomach. No, Mama. She shook her gently, then harder. Mama, please wake up. Please. No response. No movement. No breath. Jessy clutched her mother's shoulders, sobbing. Not now. Not here. Please. Adams turned sharply when he saw her. His face fell. Jessy, I'm so sorry. Jessy screamed with heartbreak. Mama. But there was no time. The strike team was closing in. Laser sights crept across the metal floor toward them. Mara grabbed Jessy by the arms. Jessy, we have to go. Jessy sobbed violently. I'm not leaving her. Mara's voice cracked. She's already gone. Jessy went still, completely still. Every part of her body trembled. Her soul felt ripped open. Adams put a hand on Jessy's shoulder. Jessy, if you stay here, you die too. Jessy whispered through broken breath. I don't care. Jessy, look at me, Adams said firmly. She didn't. He grabbed her chin gently and lifted her face toward him. Tears streamed down her cheeks. Red lights crept closer. Gunfire echoed. Adams met her eyes. If you die now, your mother dies for nothing. Jessy's breath shattered in her chest. Her mother's voice from childhood echoed in her mind. Baby, the world is cold. You don't have to be. Jessy closed her eyes. Just once. Then she nodded. Barely. Mara and Adams lifted her to her feet. She stumbled into the Sparrow, her hands shaking violently. She sat in the co-pilot seat, the body beside her. Her mother. Jessy squeezed her eyes shut. I'm so sorry. Mama? Adams climbed into the pilot seat. Mara ran outside, covering them with rapid gunfire. Adams yelled, Mara, now! Mara sprinted at full speed, jumped, landed in the Sparrow, and slammed the hatch shut. Bullets hammered the exterior as the engines roared to life. Jessy sobbed silently. Adams grabbed the throttle. Hold on. The Sparrow lifted sharply and shot forward out of the hangar just as explosives detonated behind them. Jessy stared blankly through the cockpit window. Her mother's body was still strapped in the back. Still, cold, gone. Jessy whispered, They killed her because of me. Mara bowed her head. Adams said nothing. His silence was heavy, grief-filled, and full of rage. Jessy clenched the Q cord to her chest, her voice a broken whisper. They want this. Fine. She looked up, eyes blazing with something new, something terrifying, something powerful. Then I'm going to make them pay. Jessy's grief has awakened something dangerous inside her. The Q core pulses aggressively in her hands, responding to her emotions, responding to her. And Adams realizes Jessy isn't just part of this war anymore. She is now the center of it. And the echo chamber will stop at nothing to claim her. Comment below. If you were Jessy, would revenge become your next mission? Hit subscribe, because next we bring the moment Jessy Thorn becomes someone the world will fear. The Sparrow sliced through the night sky like a silver blade. Clouds tore apart around it. Wind screamed across the hull. Jessy sat frozen in the co-pilot seat, hands trembling, face soaked in tears, the Q-core glowing violently in her lap. Behind her, her mother's body lay still in the restraint seat. Jessy couldn't look back. Not yet. Not until her brain could accept what her heart refused to believe. Adams kept glancing at her. Jessy, I'm sorry. She didn't respond. Her eyes were fixed on the window. Black sky. Cold air. A world too big, too cruel, too fast. Mara tightened a strap on her shoulder holster. They'll follow us soon. We need to plan our next move. Jessy's voice came out hollow. We don't run. Adams stiffened. Jessy, we're not running anymore, she repeated, louder. Her fingers dug into the Q-core. The device pulsed harder. Blue light, then white, then a faint vibration, like a heartbeat responding to hers. Mara noticed. Jessy, it's reacting to you. Jessy didn't look away from the sky. It should. Her voice was different. Hard, sharp, carved from loss. Adams swallowed. What do you want to do? Jessy finally turned. Her eyes burned with grief and fury. I want to destroy the echo chamber. She inhaled slowly. Every part of it, every person in it, every shadow it hides behind. Mara's expression darkened, not in fear, but in respect. Then you'll need more than rage. Jessy lifted the Q-core. Good thing I have this. Adams's eyes widened. No. Jessy raised an eyebrow. No. Jessy. Adam said firmly. The Q-core isn't a weapon. It's a failsafe. It can shut down networks, disrupt communications, even collapse financial infrastructure. Good, Jessy snapped. That's what they deserve. Jessy, listen. She leaned forward, eyes blazing. No, you listen. They killed my mother, my only family. They tried to kill you. They destroyed my life. They made me into this. Her voice cracked. This thing that's running for survival. Adam softened, but Jessy wasn't done. I'm going to end them. Silence swallowed the cabin. Mara stared at Jessy with a look Jessy didn't recognize at first. Not pity, not concern, recognition. You've changed, Mara said quietly. Jessy nodded. I had to. 30 minutes later, the Sparrow landed deep in a hidden forest clearing, a private emergency location Adams built years ago. A steel hatch rose from the ground. The Sparrow descended into a concealed hangar. Dim lights flickered on. Adams climbed out. Mara followed. Jessy didn't move. She stared at her mother's body. Her breath hitched. Her throat tightened until she could barely inhale. She whispered, I'm sorry, Mama. Mara approached gently. Jessy, we have to move her. Carefully. Jessy nodded, tears falling again. I'll help. Together, they lifted her mother's body. Jessy guided her to the far corner of the hangar. There was no casket, no ceremony, no time, just a white sheet. Jessy covered her mother gently. Her hands lingered. Her forehead touched the sheet. Thank you for everything. Her voice shook. I love you. Mara looked away to give her privacy. Adams bowed his head silently. Jessy inhaled sharply, then stood. Her grief didn't vanish. It sharpened, and she carried that sharpness into the next room. A large round table lit up with holographic displays, maps, targets, communications grids. Adams manipulated the controls. This is the echo chamber's known footprint, he said. Underground bases, data vaults, financial nodes, remote command sites. Jessy stared at the glowing map. There were dozens of locations. Dozens. They're everywhere, she whispered. Mara crossed her arms. They're not invincible. Jessy's eyes hardened. Good. Adams tapped another screen. But before we attack them, we need to talk about the Q-core. Jessy lifted the device. What does it really do? Adams exhaled. It controls the EchoNet. Jessy blinked. What's that? Adams stepped closer. The invisible network the echo chamber uses to manipulate governments, corporations, elections, data, money, surveillance. Jessy's jaw tightened. So they're monsters. Yes. And this thing, she shook the Q-core, is their leash? Exactly. Jessy smirked coldly. Then let's choke them with it. Adams hesitated. Jessy, if you activate the Q-core without the proper channeling, it could trigger a global blackout, infrastructure collapse, financial shutdowns, communications wipeouts. Millions could suffer. Jessy looked him dead in the eyes. Did millions care when I lost my job? When we were hunted? When my mother died? Adams winced. That's not the same. It feels the same. Adams reached out slowly. Jessy, you don't have to become like them. Jessy pulled the Q-core away from him. I'm not becoming like them. Her voice was icy. I'm ending them. Mara slid her gun onto the table. I'm with her. Adams froze. Mara, no, she said. Jessy's right. The echo chamber doesn't do warnings. They don't negotiate. They don't stop. The only language they understand. She picked up the gun again. Is force. Jessy exhaled shakily. Thank you. But Adams wasn't done. He walked around the table, stopping in front of Jessy. Jessy Thorn, he said quietly. She met his eyes. For the last week, you've been running from them. His voice deepened. Starting now, you're not running anymore. He tapped the Q-core. You're leading. Jessy's breath caught. You mean? Yes, Adam said. You are the only person they didn't predict. The only one they didn't expect. The only variable they can't calculate. Mara smirked. They're terrified of you, Jess. Jessy swallowed. They should be. Jessy turned to the war table. Every enemy location glowed. Every shadow operation exposed. Every secret network vulnerable. She lifted the Q-core. It pulsed like it was alive, like it was waiting. Jessy inhaled, trembling. "This is for my mother," she whispered. Adams and Mara stood behind her. She placed the Q-core on the activation dock. A deep hum vibrated through the room. The holographic map flickered. The lights dimmed. Lines of code streamed upward. A voice-like tone filled the air. Q-core engaged. Execute command. Jessy's hands hovered above the interface. Her heart pounded. Her grief screamed. Her mother's last words. Her life before this. Everything pointed to one choice. She whispered, "Execute." Adam stepped forward urgently. "Jessy, wait." But it was too late. Jessy slammed her palm onto the command surface. The room lit up with blinding white. The screens exploded with collapsing nodes. One by one, the echo chamber's locations blinked red. Offline, offline, offline. Jessy's hair whipped in the artificial wind. Her eyes reflected the destruction. Her voice came out steady and cold. "This is the end of your shadow world." Adam shielded his face from the blast. "Jessy, stop. You're overloading the system." "I know," she whispered. The Q-core shrieked with power. Lightning-like bursts shot through the room. Mara braced herself on a wall. Jessy stood perfectly still, almost peaceful, almost holy. The Q-core reached critical surge. And then, with one final electric scream, the entire Echonet collapsed. Darkness swallowed every screen. Silence. Total silence. The network controlling governments, corporations, economies, gone. Every echo wiped clean. Jessy stepped back, breathing hard. Adam stared at her, speechless. Mara whispered, "You just crippled half the corrupt world." Jessy wiped a tear. "No," she whispered. "I just freed it." Outside, every satellite linked to the Echonet went dark. Every corrupted banking system froze. Every secret data vault shut down. Every plan attack failed. Every shadow puppet collapsed. The world jolted, screamed, woke up. Governments scrambled. Corporations panicked. And deep within their collapsing empire, the echo chamber realized something terrifying. They had been beaten not by atom smoke, not by the military, not by any government, but by a black woman who worked a warehouse job 5 days ago. Jessy Thorn, a woman they underestimated. A woman who refused to walk past a dying man. A woman they pushed into becoming their worst nightmare. Jessy looked at Adams. "Now what?" Adams watched her carefully. "Now," he said, "we rebuild what they destroyed." Mara smirked. "And if the echo chamber tries to rise again?" Jessy lifted her chin, her eyes fierce, her heart still broken, but her spirit no longer afraid. "Then I'll be waiting." Jessy Thorn was no longer civilian, no longer a target, no longer a victim. She was something else now, a force, a symbol, a shadow the shadows feared, the woman who brought the echo chamber to its knees. Jessy Thorn has just changed the world, but power always creates new enemies. Comment below. Fire should Jessy become a vigilante, a global protector, or walk away from the shadows forever? Hit subscribe, because her next story might be the rise of a legend,